Thank you, William, for
Yeah.
the opportunity to share what Ghana is doing regarding the situation that the whole world seems to be faced with. Briefly, I'll go through Ghana's COVID-19 situation, which started in March. We recorded our first cases sometime on the 12th of March, and subsequently the President of the Republic gave guidance notes on how the country should proceed. Initially, there were bans on social gatherings, and then going forward, we had to ban commercial flights coming into the country. And that is when we started having our issues with the seafarers trying to come in through international flights to either join or leave the vessels. But one thing that Ghana did as a country was not to include the maritime industry with all these bans that were put in place. And so in essence, the seaports were operating throughout the period that the country was under lockdown. Marine personnel were able to go about their duties. The only problem was the issue of commercial flights coming in, bringing seafarers and taking them out. The challenges that we faced initially was because of the novelty of the situation, the agencies, the plethora of agencies involved in the maritime space initially did not have the standard operating procedures to face such a menace. And so initially there was an issue as to how the ports, the Maritime Authority, Immigration, Port Health, the Civil Aviation, how they were going to do to assist in the crew changes. And so this put a lot of pressure on the Maritime Authority because we did not have the necessary standard procedures, and the paper trails was too much for the system. A ship agent had to apply individually to each of these agencies to be able to secure clearance, either for clearance for aircrafts to come in, bring in crew, or to take crew out. And so those were the initial challenges that we had. But once we sat at the table and then were able to strategize, things became more clearer, and we were able to proceed to assist crew repatriations. Another challenge that we had was the inadequate electronic processes that we have for our services. And this was evident in the amount of paper trail that was coming in requesting for seafarer crew changes. And so we have identified that as one of the major challenges that we need to tackle. Again, as you may be aware, Ghana has accredited one maritime education training institute, which is serving the sub-region. Having to close down the university also posed a problem for the sub-region because the university had also not initiated processes of involving ICT in giving tuition to the seafarers. And so when it gets to our response, we ensured that there was a timely communication of information to the maritime and move forward and then assist in the crew changes. We also went ahead and issued an extension in line with IMO guidelines for certificates that we have issued to our seafarers. And so there was a circular that gave extensions regarding our certificates of competencies, proficiencies, medical fitness certificates, and other systems. And then once we realized that the collaboration between the agencies was not enough, we had a discussion, and then all the agencies agreed to create a one-stop shop to assist in the crew changes. The Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority has also been very instrumental. They have allocated one of their hospitals to serve as a testing facility and also to serve as a treatment facility in cases where we have crew who test positive within our waters. And so to walk you through the processes that we employed, we had two main processes. One was for the period when the country was under total lockdown without commercial flights. What we employed was students who were willing to bring in chartered flights to conduct their crew changes. And so in that respect, together with the Office of the President, we were able to grant waivers to open our airspace to certain chartered flights, bringing in crew and then carrying sign-up crew out of the country. And the process is as displayed. And with that process, it was a direct transit from the airport to the ship. And so once the plane gets in, Ghana Maritime Authority will meet crew at the tarmac and transport them directly to the ship, and vice versa. When crew had to sign off, Ghana Maritime Authority would transport the crew directly from the seaport to the airport, and there had to be a waiting aircraft available to carry the crew. And that is what we did when the country was under the strict lockdown. And then going forward, some of the measures were loosened where we allowed commercial flights to come in. And then we also took cognizance of the guidelines that the IMO had issued. And so together at the table, the agencies agreed to come out with a new procedure for conducting crew changes. And that is what is currently pertaining now. What happens is prior to entry into Ghana, you are supposed to have a 72-hour PCR. You should have undertaken a PCR test in the past 72 hours with a negative result, and then you are allowed on a commercial flight to Ghana. When you get to the Ghanaian airport, government has instituted a rapid test, and so you are checked again at the airport. And when you are found to be negative, you can be handed over to the shipping agent or the crew agent, where they can put you in a government designated facility or a hotel pending your sign-on. The same happens with the sign-off. During the sign-off, when there's a notice of a crew change, which is a sign-off, the port health is allowed to go on board to take the samples of the crew who need to be checked. Okay. And so going forward, what the best practices that we have been able to identify is to employ more electronic procedures for our processes, and also to engage the stakeholders more so that we have a one-stop shop to assist the crew. What needs to be taken is that Ghana has taken note of the delivery that seafarers has made to us, and then we stand ready to help them in this time that they need our help. Thank you.